Hi, I'm Bob Johnson from Bob Johnson's Computer Stuff. If you're looking for a Toughbook rugged laptop community for tips, tricks, and more information, don't forget to watch our videos. And when you do, hit that like button as well as the subscribe button and that bell button so we can notify you on any newer upcoming videos. Hey guys, welcome back to the Rugged Rundown. And this week, I'm going to talk to you about the Durabook S14i. And by the way, a shout out to Durabook saying thank you for sending us in this unit so that we can review it. And the Dell Latitude 5412. So both these units are considered semi-rugged. They are both sold into public safety organizations like police, fire, that type of thing. But there's some very small details that you need to know about both these units. The Dell itself has a big mouse pad. That is a large mouse pad as compared to the S14. It has nice buttons. They're not as rigid feeling as over here. I mean, I get a solid click on these. On the Dell, not so much. It's much quieter. Another thing that the Dell does not have that the S14 has is programmable buttons. So you have the programmable buttons that you can make do anything you want, whereas the Dell doesn't have that feature. Another difference between these two would be the hinges. So one of the big problems on the Dell 5400 series is the hinges in a car. Whenever the car is open and closed and whenever they're stopping and going, the hinges tend to loosen up really easily and this screen starts giving play of a good 2 or 3 inches. That's a problem. On the Durabook S14i, you're not going to have that problem. These hinges are rock solid. Some other different interesting features is if I close both these units, you take a look, here is the S14's handle is small and lightweight. The Dell has this big piece here. Now it's still rubber and it gives you a nice feel, but it's very large. So if you have big hands, I guess this is a plus. Another difference between these two units is the weight. This S14 is much lighter than this Dell. Now I don't know if that means that the Dell is more rugged or what, but if you're carrying this around in your backpack or in your, by the handle, it's going to be much heavier than if you're carrying around this Durabook. And you get the same build via military standards of 810. Some other features that you need to know about is, even though the Dell here has the fingerprint reader, that is an upgrade on this Durabook, but smart card reader comes standard over here, does not come standard over here. Both keyboards, I got to tell you, you know me about keyboards. These keyboards both are comparable. I don't see any real difference. So don't buy it because of one has a better keyboard than the other. The other part of these two units is that the ports. So the Dell comes with all the standard ports, but you got to take a look at the port covers. Now, these port covers got metal hinges. They're nice and well built. There's a latch here that pushes in and out so you can read. So whenever you push it in, it clicks in. On the S14, if you take a look here, you got to push down and you pull out. If you look right here, they're plastic with plastic hinges. So I will say the Dell has better hinges than the Durabook, or better port covers, I should say. If you look over here, you've got the USB, SD card reader, but again, metal hinges, metal door. And then right here is your battery. This is where your battery goes. Now I will say the battery on the Durabook is a hot swappable, so that you can pull that battery out and with the unit on, it stays on, and put a new battery in and you're good to go. With the Dell, you don't have that ability. You pull the battery out, this laptop's going to shut off like any standard laptop. The touchscreen on these units The Dell, you can use your finger or a stylus, but let me say, don't use a gloved hand and don't have your fingers wet because it isn't going to work. The DuraBook, nice thing about their touchscreen is you've got finger touchability, as well. Your hands can be wet and it still works, or you can be wearing gloves and it will still respond to your finger. So those are the two touchscreen differences on these laptops. Well guys, I can't think of anything else to tell you about the comparison on these units. I will say they're both great units. I like them both. I gravitate towards the DuraBook because it's small, it's a thinner unit and lighter weight. The Dell seems to be, I mean, it is substantially heavier than your DuraBook. But I want to know your opinion. Leave it in the comments. I'd love to be able to read what you guys got to say. I'm going to leave some links down in the description that will give you additional videos about the Dell as well as our DuraBook S14i. So until next week, I'll see you guys.